As a professional writer for over 20 years, I cannot tell you the number of times someone learned what I do and said, I always thought that I should write a book. That was followed only by people telling me their story and saying, people tell me I should write a book. If this is you, this video is going to answer a ton of questions and help you decide if you should write your story, and if so, how to do it. So get ready to take some notes and save this video to review later during your writing phase. In the past, I would listen and share a few things I knew about the publishing industry. I walked away always knowing that their likelihood of success was almost zero, no matter how good their story was. But then in early 2008, after writing for over 6 years professionally, I stumbled upon a shortcut. You might relate to this story in your own life. I was on one of many frustrating phone calls with potential clients. This person said they wanted to write a book and then took over an hour telling me every little detail about every aspect of their story. I knew if I was getting bored listening, there was no way they'd be able to hold a reader. Writing the book is hard, but it doesn't have to be complicated. The problem is many writers of all levels miss a few key things that makes the writing not connect with readers. In this video, I will show you how to avoid that misstep. First, to be successful, we need to master the 3 questions. What do you want to share? Why do you want to share it? And how will you share it? If you can't answer this, your book won't sell. It will become a rambling mess of thoughts and stories with no cohesion and no clear takeaway. Your reader won't find value and they'll stop reading. So let's use this video to illustrate how to do this. What do you want to share? I want to share a series of steps in a very clear video, walk aspiring or novice nonfiction writers through clarifying their topic and delivery so they have a better book and a better chance of selling their book than they would have had otherwise. Why do you want to share it? Because people have important life lessons that can add real value, but they aren't connecting with readers because they ramble in their writing. How will you share it? In a series of videos, starting with this one, that are less than 12 minutes and hopefully less than 9 minutes. I want to keep them short enough that they will rewatch multiple times during their outlining process. Okay, do you see how I was very clear and specific on who I am doing this for, what information I want to convey, and how it will help them? I'm not trying to reach every potential writer. I am specific in who my audience is, and it is possible a well-established writer who wants some new ideas may watch my video and find value, but they're not my primary target, and knowing that market will guide my style. So, what is the reader going to get out of this, thinking about your book? Many writers know why they want to share something, but they're less clear about why they think others should read it. While they may say something along the lines of, for encouragement, that is so vague that it will end up feeling flat to most readers. I can be encouraged with a meme. What is going to force me to commit hours of my life to reading your book specifically? Figure this out by answering this one question. Other than selling my book, my goal in writing this book is X. Or, said another way, if a potential buyer or reader said, why did you write this? What would you tell them? Soon, you will build the writing from this, but first, there are simple things that will save you hundreds of hours of work, and I am not exaggerating. Produce a better first draft and keep your book organized. Do this by creating a series of questions based on why you are writing the book. Once you know why you'll write the book and what the reader will gain by reading it, that they couldn't gain in like a meme or a 15-second video, then begin to make a few notes on stories or examples that will illustrate each point that you want to make. We will use these notes later in the writing phase. So, book writing gets frustrating because of writer's block and terrible drafts. Quit wasting time writing terrible first drafts. See, a terrible first draft doesn't mean poor writing, it means useless information. Things you're going to have to cut, delete, move. It's rambling forever. It wastes precious time. It's writing entire sections that your reader will never read, or even worse, that will end up causing your reader to stop at reading your book and put it down. So, get the list of points that you want to make, to make along with the story or example that will make this point. Next, how does this point tie into the big picture of the book? Make that clear in your mind and write down notes so you can include that in your writing. And then, is there other information the reader must understand to get the benefit from that point? Because you'll need to make sure and make those connections and clarifications so that your reader will understand the full context. I want you to understand the impact of getting this clear in your mind. In 2010, I was working with a client who had an unusually compelling story, a clear audience, and already was an established speaker. They came in wanting to simply dictate their story and have me clean up their transcript. Our first meeting lasted almost 3 hours and there was very little I could use. I looked at him and said, "What is the lesson?" He stopped talking for a moment and started to rehash what he'd already said. I stopped him and repeated my question. I asked him to think about it. A few days later, he called and said he had thought a lot about what I said. I was the first author who had asked him that. The next time we met, he knew exactly what his primary message was. The goal he had in writing the book, actually the 2 goals, that he had narrowed down, and then the stories that supported those 2 main goals. We got started, and it was like he was a witness in court. I asked questions, he answered. The answers were clear and engaging, and each story had a very clear lesson. We completed the interview in a series of short interviews, and once it was transcribed, we had the entire first draft of the book. He read it once, adding and deleting little bits that he realized either would clarify or were too much. And then I did a content edit to clarify points and drill down on some lessons, asking him places to expand again or maybe suggesting things to cut. He did a final read. We then got it proofread and formatted within a couple of months, and he had his book in hand and sold hundreds of copies in his first couple of months. All because he had clarity. Furthermore, the clarity he gained in creating his book led him to marketing his book better, getting more speaking events because he didn't ramble on calls, and word-of-mouth marketing from people who read it and enjoyed the book. This was a life-changing moment for me, because I began to see the power of this system I'm sharing in these videos, and it helped me to work with literally hundreds of books over the next few years. If you want that kind of success, start this video over again and really start to think about those 3 questions, and then go on to this next video where I'll start to show you exactly what to do to start writing a strong first draft in under 2 days.